Now, issues of disrepair in older people's homes are becoming more complex and urgent. That's according to a maintenance charity. Care and Repair Cymru say that more older people are asking for help with their homes after the pandemic, and they're calling on the Welsh Government to introduce a grant to fund emergency repairs in low-income private homes. The government says they spend over £19 million a year on supporting this kind of work. Now, Tony Costa from Penrhyn Bay in Conwy has benefited from a number of adaptations to his home while he waits for operations on his knees.
I've lived with bad knees for so many years, but it didn't really disabilitate me for general life, like life in the home or outside. But the last 12 months, things have changed. So I certainly needed adjustments making in the house, because what was once a safe place that I took for granted has become potentially a very dangerous place.
Chris Jones is the Chief Executive of Care and Repair Cymru. Bore da, good morning. Tell us about some more stories like Tony's that you're hearing of people who need help with their homes.
Morning, James. Yeah, so we're a charity that covers the whole of Wales. So we see these problems every day in our clients' properties, and we help vulnerable older people to live independently in safe, warm, accessible housing. But through the eyes of our caseworkers and technical officers and handy persons who visit tens of thousands of older people in their own homes, we are witnessing our clients' struggles firsthand every day. So, for example, there's a gentleman in North Wales who called us a few months back because his toilet was leaking, which is obviously a serious matter to get resolved. But it turns out that the problem was so severe, the leak was so severe, that the kitchen floorboards and the joists below were rotted, and we had to do some urgent work to support the floor structure with some acro props to stop it collapsing, before then trying to find some funding to renew the floor. So we were able to raise an amount of local charitable funding through our caseworkers' work, but the house as a whole still needs work to replace things like old electrics, dealing with damp and mould and repairs to the roof, and it's impossible to find funding to do all of these work in that particular case. And those are the sorts of things that our caseworkers and our technical teams are reporting to us every day.
So why are you hearing more people who are older who are struggling here with home adaptations, with repairs that are needed at home?
Yeah, so we think there's been a particular impact with the pandemic and lockdowns initially, which led to some of these problems that I've just described going unseen really and unchecked over a few years during the pandemic. And now what we've seen, of course, is the cost of living crisis, high energy prices coming into play. Which means that people haven't got the money to pay for essential repairs, because of course what they're prioritising is paying the food bill and paying other household bills.
So you're calling for a safety net grant. Tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah, so what we mean by that is we do everything that we can to find local charitable funding to help people with the sort of repairs that I've described. But where we can't find that funding, and we are left in those sorts of situations where we can't help anymore, what we're calling on the Welsh Government to introduce is a safety net grant at that point, so that we can get those essential works done, and we can get works done which is going to improve the health of the occupiers, their well-being, and it's going to keep them out of health settings, hospitals and visits to GPs, which we know are already severely stretched.
And if an older person who's struggling with repairs at home is listening to the programme this morning, what advice would you give them?
I'd advise them to contact us. In the first instance, if we don't know what the issues are, then we can't try to resolve them. So I would advise them to contact Care and Repair. We have a national helpline number, which is 0300 111 3333. And what we can do initially is to go out and assess what the issues are, find out what help is available, and if we can find some help to get those repairs done, then of course we will.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's Chris Jones, who's Chief Executive of Care and Repair Cymru.